around the Aliyah, I should say.
Okay.
Well, we only have a few people here in person, so I don't need to be nervous,
The only
actually.
person that's here in person who would be called for the Aliyah is Renee.
Okay, then I'm not nervous.
And she is gonna light candles, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, she's the only person that I know of who is going to be here.
Can we do this on your side, the candles?
So here's why it doesn't work well on my side, because the air conditioning hits it right here, whereas on your side, it doesn't.
Okay.
So it really makes them very difficult to light.
It blocks my view of looking over here when I'm standing over there,
Aha,
because I am short.
that makes sense, but what if we pull it back so that it's more aligned with the back?
I just want to have as little potential things that I hurt myself on as possible.
I understand. And I don't know why Ron didn't turn on the air conditioning.
We always did the candles on your side, though.
We did, and I've been saying for the longest time that they had to move because literally they were almost impossible to get lit.
I don't remember that being an issue.
It's an issue with the air, unfortunately. Now, it may not be as much an issue if I turn the fan down. I don't know. So I turn the fan down, I'll move that and let's see what happens. It might be great, and it might not be.
Okay. And it'll help us determine what to do next time.
Yep.
Oh, let me open this.
Now, where is the candle lighting sheet, though?
We could just use the prayer book.
Yeah, I will, but the nice thing about the candle lighting sheet is that it's laminated. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our own light, give light to all who behold us. Let's do this. Let's make sure this is working. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's waking.
People are so funny. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. Hi, Riva and Gloria. Good to see you both, at least your names. I look forward to seeing your faces. You doing okay? Hi, Andrea. Good to see you.
Rabbi.
Feeling okay?
Yeah, just a little sore. I'm okay.
Good. Shabbat Shalom. Hi, Howard. Good to see you. We'll get started in just a little bit. Good to be with you all. Hi, Bonnie.
No, where are you? Where are you?
I'm here.
Thank you. And you two, are you
And-
doing Torah tonight?
We are, yes.
I think Andrea needs the Gomel prayer.
I think you're right. But we'll do it when you're ready for it.
I don't need it. I'm good.
No,
We'll talk later.
we'll talk about it later. Okay.
No special treatment. I'm fine.
But that's actually the point of it. Is it's a prayer when you were in a life-threatening situation, and thank God you're okay.
And you're okay?
But I'm not going to say anything more. Hi, Brian. Hi, Terry. Good to see you both. Riva, good to see your face. Linda, you're so dressed up. You look beautiful.
I put on a sweater. That's cold.
Hello. The sanctuary is for you.
Shabbat shalom.
And you're going to be lighting candles. Okay. Yeah, what about you? I'm okay. It's no big deal. I don't know. I need to come up with a story, but I've got nothing. No, definitely not. I think it's just a light sprain, and this helps. I'm fine. That's okay. It'll be fine. I've been off my feet most of today.
Did this just happen?
Tuesday night. It's not a big deal, but it's part of the reason Torah on the Trails is canceled tomorrow.
Got it.
Because I was hoping that I'd be better in time, but that's not a good idea right now.
Not a good idea at all. So yeah, we were in the, everything's moving along. Then starting rovers and, it's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
And apparently, the Panthers teacher is in Sarasota, Florida. Temple?
What are we talking about?
One of your teachers in Anaheim, according to ours,
Okay.
is in Sarasota.
Really? I'm not sure of what she's speaking, but I'll have to ask her about it. 'Cause
I'll find the.
she has not expressed that to me. So.
That's where we're moving.
What? I just heard that today. What?
Yeah, I know.
Hi, Marla.
All I was saying. What?
Yeah.
I never thought I would, end up being a cliche.
You are not a cliche. Not even a little bit.
Florida, come on.
We're going to miss you a whole lot.
There we go.
I know I'm not gonna find another accommodation like this at all. I don't know. They all claim to be, one is 12 years present. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. We're going to get started in just a moment. It's so great to be with you. Shabbat Shalom. I am muting everyone with love just so I'll be able to hear well. There are kippot outside if that's what you're looking for. Right outside the door, there's some. Gil is in town from Israel. Yeah.
I love it. It's perfect. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, זה כלל גדול בתורה, בתורה, זה כלל גדול בתורה. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. This is the message of our Torah. This is the teaching of our Torah. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, זה כלל גדול בתורה, בתורה, זה כלל גדול בתורה. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Whether you're joining from our beautiful sanctuary or online on Zoom or Facebook or YouTube, we hope that you can feel the love of community all around all of us, as we ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, as we show that we love our neighbors as ourselves. There is a beautiful piece that was written, that's also in our prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah. It was written by Sidney Greenberg. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, or hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May the synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and a more meaningful life. And today we have the pleasure of welcoming in Shabbat, this much needed day of rest, into our lives. And I'd love to invite up Renee to lead us in lighting the candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who've kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all those who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'chalek Shabbat.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you so much, Renee. And we move to Kabbalat Shabbat, welcoming in Shabbat in song.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We continue in welcoming the Shabbat bride with the words of Lecha Dodi. You can find them in your Sidurim on page 139. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, hene Shabbat negabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, hene Shabbat negabela. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נגבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה בראש מכתם משוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי. לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We invite you to stand and face the doors through which we entered this evening as we welcome the Shabbat bride with these words. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
It is, of course, our tradition at Temple Bethel that just as we greet the Sabbath bride, so too do we greet one another. And so I invite everyone who's here to send some love. I know we want to give hugs. I know we do, so we can send them virtual ones. And everyone online, I invite you to reach out and say Shabbat Shalom to a friend that you've had for many, many years, to someone who perhaps you've never met before, because we are one community, and every single one of us makes this place just a little bit brighter, a little more sacred. And with that, we rise once more for anyone who is able to do so as we offer Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro מעריב ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים. God of creation, who makes the evening fall, from light into darkness with the setting of the sun. You unfold the heavens with brilliant moon and stars, and wrap our souls with peace. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro מעריב ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים. Adonai, Hama'ariv, Aravim.
You know, each week, we as a community have the ability to come together and to study Torah, to immerse ourselves in Torah. And what I find each week as our Torah study group comes together is that there's so much depth, there's so much breadth, and there's so much inspiration that can come that perhaps hadn't before. And so this week I came across a poem by Rosemary Trommer called Porosity that made me think of the prayer Ahavat Olam, where God shows God's love by giving us the Torah. And she writes, "And so I learn I am porous, learn I am not just dust, but soil. Everything moves through me. I am not the container I believed myself to be, but a portion of earth more other than self. In a dream, I was told the body is permeable to life and to death. I want to remember that voice. I want to remember how it feels to be earth, to know the self as both living and dead. I want to remember how absence has never felt more holy, how its sacredness is rivaled only by the holiness of what's here. No separation, said the voice, remember. I want to remember the infinite dark inside each infinite moment, how both soil and time are planted with stars. Oh, sweet teachings that I cannot understand, how they spiral out like galaxies, how they slip like loose soil through my hands. Truly, what could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?" We say together, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We turn to the words of Micha Mocha, words of celebration for the miracles in our midst, for the miracle that made us a free people.
בקודש נורא תהילות אוספלת, נורא תהילות אוספלת. מלכותך ובניך בוקע לפני משה, זה לי ענו ואמרו, זה לי ענו ואמרו, ונאמר כי בדד אדוני את יעקב גאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. As we turn to our Hashkivenu, we ask that God not only shelter us, but guide us with these beautiful words and this beautiful melody. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Uvos aleinu sukat shlomecha, uvos aleinu sukat shlomecha. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. We continue in our welcome to Shabbat, remembering how we are commanded to guard Shabbat and to keep it holy. These words of V'shamru. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם. אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת Shabbat vayinafash. Shabbat, Shabbat vayinafash. Oh, guide my steps.
We prepare to turn to our Amidah. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soil, mend a broken heart, repair or rebuild a weakened will. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei Hakol וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. I invite you to take some moments for your own personal prayers and meditations, and when you feel ready to do so, you may be seated.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדום לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדום לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We are about to begin a short Torah service this evening, and we're going to be reading from Genesis chapter 21, verses 1 to 4, for anyone who has a Tanakh in front of them. But before we do that, we have to take the Torah out of the ark, so I invite you to rise in body or in spirit.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
This week happens to be the week of the month where I have the pleasure of blessing everyone who has a birthday or an anniversary. So anyone who's present here who has a birthday, I know there's at least one of you, in the month of October, I invite you to come up for the Aliyah. And for everyone who's online, I invite you to join along with from home.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch et
Adonai. Amvarach.
Baruch Adonai המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai Amavra le'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bashar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. You can be seated, by the way. Amen. Vadonai pakad et Sarah kasher amar vayas Adonai lesara kasher diber v'tahar vateled Sarah leAvraham ben lizkunav למועד אשר דיבר אותו אלוהים ויקרא אברהם את שם בנו הנולד לו אשר ילדה לו שרה יצחק וימול אברהם את יצחק בנו בן 8 ימים כאשר ציווה אותו אלוהים. Come back over here. That's okay. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה אמן.
Not yet, actually.
Not yet, stay
Not
here for the
yet.
blessing. Don't go anywhere.
Because I get to offer you a blessing. Renee, you just want to keep running around. We're not going to let you do that yet. Everyone who is at home right now who has a birthday in the month of October, I invite you to just jot a little note in the chat so I can offer this blessing for all of you as well. Okay, October doesn't seem to be a big birthday month. I guess not. But it's big because you're here, and we certainly are celebrating your birthday, and so I'd like to offer you this prayer. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless you as you celebrate your birthday. May you be blessed with health and with happiness. And Jim and Riva and Ray,
And
them
Barbara?
too? Good, the names are coming in. I just didn't know who was present right now. For all of you, this is a blessing for everyone. May your face mask always protect you. May your favorite song come on the radio whenever you enter a store. May you always have an umbrella when it rains. May you take the time to observe the flight of a hummingbird, the vibrance of sunset, the ripple of the ocean wave. But above all, may you know that you are seen and respected and loved and cherished by all of those who are lucky enough to know you. May you go from strength to strength and from blessing to blessing. Ad mea ve'esrim, just as Moses lived a good life until his final days at the age of 120, may you too live a blessed life for many, many years to come. Yashar koach mazal tov to all of you. And I see a few more birthdays in here too. The blessing was certainly for all of you. Michael Sherman, yes, I did get a heads up that it was your birthday today. This blessing is certainly for you, Michael. And Barbara and Marty, all of you, mazal tov, may you go from strength to strength. Congratulations.
Amen.
Now we'll allow you to sit down. Now we'll let you do it. Is there anyone who's celebrating an anniversary in the month of October? Anyone online or anyone in person?
Not a popular month to get married, I guess.
I guess not. Well, if names do show up in a minute, I will be more than happy to offer you an anniversary blessing. But in the meantime, let's bring the Torah back to the ark. So I invite everyone to rise once more as we return it.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. וזאת התורה, וזאת התורה, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, לפני בני ישראל. וזאת התורה, 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 וזאת התורה. עץ חיים היא, למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר, דרכיה דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש חדש ימינו, חדש ימינו כקדם.
And now I see there are a few anniversaries. Everyone may be seated now that we've put the Torah away, but certainly we will not lose the opportunity to celebrate some really big, awesome anniversaries over here. So the Picars and the Reeses celebrating 52 years. That is definitely something to celebrate. The Picars are celebrating their 58th anniversary. That is phenomenal. And so for all of you, I'd love to offer this blessing. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors under the canopy of life commitment bring blessing to you as you celebrate your anniversary. Your love was strong on the day of your wedding. Since then, you have experienced great joys, successes, and holy moments. You have been through hardships and losses that shook you. With each experience, you make the commitment to choose one another, to do the hard work of understanding, of supporting, of being there for your partner. Work that is not easy, but is much, much more than worth it. May the blessings you've enjoyed continue to overflow with health and goodness, with joy and life-affirming spirit filling your hearts. May your love grow stronger with each and every passing day. And together, let us all say, Amen. Yasher koach to all of you. So now I'd like to offer some words of Torah based on a piece that the cantor read so beautifully a few moments ago. This week's Torah portion, Vayera, is filled to the brim with stories of inspiration and contemplation. Abraham teaches us how to welcome the stranger. He argues with God, demonstrating how to stand up for those in need with civility and with grace. Sodom and Gomorrah are destroyed. Sarah becomes a mother to Isaac at the age of 90. Isaac is saved from a terrible fate. And in the midst of all of these stories, we come to some troubling verses about the relationship between Hagar, Abraham's concubine, and Sarah, his wife. You might remember that Sarah and Abraham hadn't been able to have a child. Sarah told Abraham to have a child with Hagar, her maid, so that he could have a son. Now, Hagar was Sarah's maidservant. A cultural stranger without family ties nearby, without protection. Her very name, Hagar, comes from the Hebrew word ger, which means a stranger. We know nothing about her or how she came to be a maidservant. All we know is that she is other, and that Sarah had the power to decide when and how she would have a child. There was no indication that Hagar consents or even has the ability to give consent if she wanted to. She has no control whatsoever over her own reproductive life. She isn't given agency, dignity, or respect. In fact, in last week's Torah portion, the Torah reads, "V'tikach Sarai, Eshet Avram, v'hager hamitzrim," sorry, this text got fuzzy on my screen, "Sivchata miketz asher shanim, v'shevet Avram be'eretz Canaan, v'titen ota l'Avraham isha, lo le'isha." So Sarah, Abram's wife, took her maid, Hagar the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt in the land of Canaan for 10 years, and gave her to her husband Abram as concubine. The Hebrew in our verse is unambiguous. V'tikach, she is taken. V'titen, she is given. She is not asked, and she does not get to choose. Her reproductive life is not her own. This week's text is every bit as troubling. Sarah becomes worried that Ishmael, the boy Abraham had with Hagar, will share an inheritance with her son, Isaac. Sarah decides yet again what will happen to Hagar. She insists that Abraham pushes Hagar and Ishmael into the wilderness. Again, Hagar has no voice, no choice, no agency. How awful it is to have one's choices made for them. Years ago, as rabbi of a congregation, I counseled a young woman who had become pregnant when she was a teenager, just starting to get her life together after many years of struggle. Medications she needed for her mental health would gravely impact the fetus. Going off of those meds would gravely impact her. She sat down with doctors and went over all of her options. After deep thought and struggle, she decided to have an abortion. I was grateful that she had the choice. But as we know, too many Americans do not. Roe versus Wade, Planned Parenthood versus Casey in 1992, and other Supreme Court precedents prohibit states from banning abortion before fetal viability, the point at which fetuses can sustain life outside the womb. Nonetheless, there are many Americans that do not have access to birth control, reproductive health care, or abortions if they need them. They lack the accessibility and support. Too often, health plans do not cover their medical needs. This injustice disproportionately impacts the BIPOC community. Sister Song, the Women of Color Reproductive Justice Collective, has been leading the fight for reproductive justice for decades. They teach that reproductive justice is the human right to maintain a personal bodily autonomy, have children, not have children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. It is about access, not choice, they explained. Or it's about access, not abortion, they explain. Even when abortion is legal, many women of color cannot afford it or cannot travel hundreds of miles to the nearest clinic. There is no choice where there is not access. Reproductive justice advocates for a world in which everyone has the agency, the voice, and the dignity to make their own decisions about reproductive health. That is why I am proud to join them in this effort. I am a rabbi for Repro with the National Council of Jewish Women, proud to stand up and work for everyone's reproductive health care, which is not only permitted, but at times even required by Jewish law. The Talmud teaches that pregnancy is mere fluid for its first couple of months. Life doesn't begin at conception, it teaches. The fetus is in fact considered to be part of its mother's body, according to Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. The fetus isn't considered to be a separate living being, the Mishnah teaches, until the onset of labor and childbirth, traditionally not until the head has emerged during the birthing process. As a result, the mother's life takes precedence from a Jewish perspective. Abortion is not only permitted by Jewish law, but it is required if the life of a pregnant person is in danger. As Rabbi David Feldman put it, implicit in this Mishnah is the teaching that the rights of the fetus are secondary to the rights of the mother all the way up until the moment of birth. Quoting the Harit, Rabbi Eliezer Waldenberg teaches that it is permissible for a woman to abort a fetus where it is needed for the mother's health, even when it is not a matter of saving the mother's life. And it is only to save her from great pain because of the child's. And that in general, there is room to be lenient because suffering and emotional pain in great measure are greater and more painful than physical pain. Jewish tradition understood even thousands of years ago that a woman needs to have agency over her own body, needs the ability to make decisions that are right for her health and the health of her family. We may not always agree with everyone's decisions, but perhaps we can on their rights to make them. Reproductive rights, as we know, are under attack. Since 2011, states have passed 566 restrictions to abortion access, and this year has been particularly devastating. In the first half of 2021, there have been 561 abortion restrictions, including 165 abortion bans introduced across 47 states, with more than 80 of them being enacted. Texas has pulled abortion rights from its citizens and puts bounties on the heads of anyone who dare offer to help them. Just today, fortunately, the Supreme Court decided to calendar a day to hear the arguments of the case, though Justice Sotomayor released a statement criticizing the court for declining to put a statute on the law to protect these women from grave and irreparable harm. This is a law that makes no exemptions for rape, a law that makes it impossible for patients to seek out of state care based on financial constraints, disastrous family situations, immigration status, or other reasons. The district court found that women are being forced to carry their pregnancy to term against their will or to seek ways to end their pregnancies on their own. The promise of the future adaptation offers cold comfort for Texas women seeking abortion care who are entitled to relief now, argued the justice. These women will suffer personal harm for delaying their medical care, and as their pregnancies progress, they may even be unable to obtain abortion care altogether. As if that wasn't enough, there's a case before the Supreme Court that is a direct and explicit challenge to Roe v. Wade. Oral arguments in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, which centers around blatantly unconstitutional Mississippi 15-week abortion ban, will be heard at the very beginning of December. My friends, you know that I do not usually preach from the pulpit about specific cases or advocating for specific bills. But tonight I feel that I have no choice because of what is going on with reproductive rights in our country. It is my Jewish obligation. The Women's Health Protection Act, a bill to help protect our constitutionally guaranteed right to reproductive health care, regardless of SCOTUS, passed the House in late September. It must now pass the Senate. We need to let our senators know that it is critical to us. It is our responsibility to advocate for every human being's right to their own agency, their ability to make the decisions that are right for them and their families. With the expertise of doctors, the support of clergy and teachers and friends and so many other systems to be there for them, to help them along the way. Going back to our text today, as we look at the story of Sarah and Hagar we are well aware that Sarah is our matriarch. And yet the story is written in such a way that we have empathy not for Sarah, but for Hagar. We have empathy because we know in our kishkas, we know in our guts that every single human being deserves to be treated not as a ger, not as an other, but as an equal. We started the service this evening with a beautiful song the cantor led us in about loving our neighbors as ourselves. So may we be called by our Jewish tradition to stand up, to ensure that everyone has access to the medical care and the choices and the agency that they deserve. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. At this point in the service, we take a moment to offer a healing prayer for people in our community, from people in our hearts. And I know there are many people for whom we'd like to offer this prayer this evening. I invite you to write their names into the chat. And as I go around the room, I invite you to say the names aloud of anyone for whom you'd like to offer this blessing.
Laura Small, Pat Wade, Robin Gregson,
Emmett Paul, Rebecca Rothstein, Melissa Polk, Bambi Polk, Corey Polk, Sarah Gill, Bob and Jen Beyer, Laura Small, Stephen and Josie Gianetto, Jennifer Hamburg-Roski, Daniel, Pam, Beth, Marty, Page, Emily, Erwin Scher, Ellen Ferguson, the Lester family, Karen Lavoie, Linda Zweig, Rabbi Ann Brenner, Sunny, Susie, Casey Feldberg, Josh Montgomery, Frank George, Rick Aber, Erwin Scher. For all of the people whose names we've said out loud and written into the chat, for all the people whose names we hold in our heart, let us offer this healing prayer.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Baruch Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed are you, God, whose healing presence is with all of those in need. And we all say, Amen.
Amen. Turn to a Lenu prayer, and I invite you to rise in body or in spirit.
It's up to us, point of being here, if we're not moved to change our ways. Aleinu leshabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu leshabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu leshabeach. It's time to live our praise. V'anachnu koreim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nema v'haya Adonai lemelech haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Today we are mourning the recent death of Linda Lester, of Adam Summerstein, and of Amichai Ben David. We're observing the yahrzeits for Eugene David Alpern, Samuel Bernstein, Paul Kane, Evelyn Davidson, Sylvia Feinfarber, Esther Foreman, May Gold, Carl Goldstein, Goldie Greenberg, Jack Greenberg, Marlene Greenberg, Miriam Holtzman, Selena Igdal, Harold Carden, Carol Kay, Theodore Kurta, Jerry Lacko, Fred Lieberman, Jack Light, Molly Math, William Mishlove, Gertrudes Manlajarden, Father Lawrence Murphy, Barbara Nebel, Myron Neustetter, Paul Noble, Herman Oster, Joseph Pendrick, Morton Reese, Morris Rosen, Abraham Rezamovsky, Charles Schneer, David Schneer, Raphael Sawyer, Joel Specht, Ferenz Steiner, Sam Stoll, Benjamin Weinberg, William Weitz, Isidore Weichnick, and Kamranz Zaman. For all of the people whose names we've said out loud and all those we hold in our hearts, I invite us all to rise once more in body or in spirit as we offer the words to the mourner's Kaddish on page 598 in our prayer book. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Balma divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivarach Leolam Olamei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei Dekudisha B'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nachamata. Damiram v'alma v'imru amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'ol kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'ol kol Yisrael ve'ol kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories forever be a blessing.
Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu.
Shabbat Shalom. You may be seated for just a second because we have a few announcements. First of all, I just really want to thank Barbara Brickman for being a greeter tonight. Thank you so much. And Tom for being a greeter and making sure security is what it should be. We are so grateful for everything you've been doing with all of that. To Keith Small, who is our Facebook greeter tonight and doing a very wonderful job. I said Shabbat Shalom. He was right on it. He responded immediately. Thank you so much, Keith, for being there as well. And I want to let everyone know that we have, of course, a few things going on this weekend. Tomorrow morning, we were going to have Torah on the trails. Unfortunately, that's postponed, so that won't be happening tomorrow, but look at your emails. You'll see exactly when it will be the next time, and I know we'll look forward to that. There will be breakfast and story time is tomorrow?
There is. Yes.
Okay, so breakfast and story time is tomorrow at 9 a.m. for anyone who would like to take part in that. And on Sunday, we have a really special start to the Taos Lecture Series, where Jim Schneer is going to be giving his second lecture. He did one last year that was phenomenal based on the Jewish calendar, and he's going to be following up to that with a lecture based on the Jewish calendar and the Torah. That's going to be Sunday at 7 p.m. It will only be on Zoom, but if you would like to be a part of it and you haven't got tickets yet, I encourage you to do so. I'm sure Jim would love for you to be there, and really, he does a phenomenal job, so we're so grateful to him for that. Just so grateful for all of you also being here tonight, whether you're here in person or here virtually. Everyone who's on Zoom, hang around for just a second because we'd love to bring you in breakout rooms so that you can have an Oneg Shabbat, grab your own food, and just enjoy being there together.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Yalla la 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 yalla la 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 yalla la 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 yalla la 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 Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Shabbat shalom, and thank you for being with us this evening. And we wish you a wonderful and joyous Shabbat.
We're so glad that you could join us tonight. Shabbat shalom. I hope you have a Nisiya Tova.
Shabbat shalom.
It was very, very good. You know, get the Kabbalah Shabbat with you.
Oh, thank you. We hope that you'll join us again the next time you're in town for business.
So good.
Absolutely.
Well, we look forward to seeing you. And Barbara, it's your birthday this month. Apparently, I was supposed to pull you up here.
Oh, no, she won't come. It'll just be a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Heal quickly.
It's not a big deal. I think it's just a light sprain. I have a doctor's appointment on Monday. Should I need it, I'm not worried about it. I'm just taking it easy.
My knee last week.
Oh. Yeah. Well, what I was laughing about is I realized, the Midrash about Hillel and Shammai, and they asked him to say all of Judaism while standing on one foot. And I was thinking to myself, I just led services standing on one foot.
That is very funny. Are you a good shot? You owe me a pie. I love it. We'll wait for my wife to be in town again. She's down in San Diego. It's family weekend. So actually, Zoe and I are going down tonight. We're taking the train down, meeting them for the day, and Zoe will stay until Sunday, and I'll come back tomorrow night on the train. And should be great.
That's awesome.
It's so nice that it's convenient enough that we can go down for a day, or whatever.
Yeah.
So Jody and her mom hasn't gotten away in the longest time, and so it's really nice for them to get tonight just to themselves. And it's so funny because Jody was in the middle because Jordan was like, "Oh,
I'm okay. I just need to rest for a little bit.
so I can spend time with you guys." So I don't know if I can see tonight. And Jody was so annoyed.
No, I basically led services on one foot. I know. And on my other foot. Just a minute. It's really no big deal.
Did you go to the doctor?
No, I have an appointment Monday morning. It's the earliest I could get. So maybe I won't need it by then, but it's there in case I do.
Right, exactly. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, Barbara.
Wisdom,
That,
but she's
Yeah.
not so open to
Well,
it.
Ray said that she would have pulled her up.
No, it would be a scene. She's October 31st.
She was mostly annoyed because
Yeah.
I guess
And she
Oh,
just,
that's right.
she
probably
just
caught
doesn't.
Jordan at a bad time. Some tone in her voice that really annoyed Jody.
So, I wish you for that.
It's really not a big deal.
Except for it is. You got to just cobble around. Absolutely. Okay. Well, have a good rest of Shabbat. And it's a blessing in disguise, not really around the trails. You can just, or the kids will have you running around.
Probably has a soccer game.
Soccer, yeah. I have a 12 o'clock one tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fun. It's so nice watching them. Like,
I love it, and that's the school I like because
There's golf.
it's over now.
yeah.
Those other baseball. Oh, I hate.
You keep going and going.
I hate it. It's what Noam said.
Right. That comment just cracks me up.
But he was right on, in my opinion. He was right. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Okay, that was beautiful. I thank you for it. That was, let's see if we get any feedback for the sermon. I thought it was
Because I haven't done a sermon like that.
you have it.
Yeah.
You've always,
Okay, that kind of time to yourself is important.
it's so good. I always,
Zoe probably needs some time to
I like
herself.
when you connect it to the Judaism.